Hello, it's your least favorite comedian slash commentator on YouTube, Von Fry. Joining me is Michael, and today we are watching Star Wars, The Last Jedi, parentheses, episode 8, in parentheses. Yes, this is one that is quite conflicting. Seems like every week it trends on Twitter for God knows why, but most people hate it. What do you think about this movie, Michael?
Uh, you'll find out. I'm going
Yeah,
to keep it very brief with my intro here.
So I'm actually going to try to play devil's advocate because I feel like there is a decent to good movie buried underneath this if edited differently. It doesn't need to be 2 hours 34 minutes long, but before we get into this, I want to give a quick mention to my buddies over at CALDERALab.com, makers of the finest skincare made in the USA. Use my promo code FRY15, save 15% at checkout. All right, so we are watching this on Disney Plus. If you'd like to watch along with us while you listen to us rant and rave and maybe even make efforts to defend this trash, queue up to 000 and hit play now. It's happening, Michael. It's happening.
Oh boy.
This is, to a lot of people, this is the low point.
You know, going back to the prequel trilogy, even though we knew where the story was heading, we were still excited to see the continuation. There just wasn't that excitement level here. Once again, we got a problem right with this title crawl. The First Order reigns. How? Starkiller Base was destroyed. How are they in control now?
I have no idea. It kind of looked to me like the First Order reigns having it looked to me like they were decimated. And in fact, decimated is probably one of the least appropriately used terms. It means reduced force by 10. So it's really not that bad. By 10, so 10% down. So, anyhow, ooh, yeah, there we go.
Already disappointed
General Leia
after
Organa.
Yeah, we were already disappointed after The Force Awakens and Rogue One. What could this movie possibly do to keep us still entertained?
This starts in a very weird place, too. It actually doesn't just resume where the last one left off. It shows a retelling of the end of the last movie.
There's clearly some passage time we missed out on here.
But the colors are different. Like, this is probably the ugliest of the Star Wars films. It has a very... we have to, somebody manipulated the color tones. There's a cool coolness to it in places. It doesn't look as natural.
Leia's pinning all of her hopes that Luke will come back and join the fight.
All right.
Oh, the visual eye candy is there. But what happened? They're being pursued, just like in The Empire Strikes Back. There's Billie Lourd, Carrie Fisher's daughter. More screen time, I might add.
Does she have the most screen time in the third outing? Like, does it build with each one?
I think it's this one, really. But we'll see when we rewatch that one.
All right, so we found the rebel base and we're ready to attack. Resistance base. Captain Candy. I don't remember that name coming up. I've seen this movie a few times by now. How many times have you watched this, Michael?
Maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah. This would be my third outing, I guess.
How did General Hux become a general? This guy is as useless as they get.
Well, his dad was in Braveheart. You got to give him that. Was he a commander when we left off? Maybe.
Why is no one leaping at the opportunity to blast Poe to smithereens? This is the guy who destroyed Starkiller Base. Hux keeps going on and on. There will be no terms of surrender. Okay, so shoot him!
It's so important that you tell them there will be no terms for surrender.
Doing a mother joke. Okay, I'll hold.
All the other... Oh yeah, this is off to a bad foot here, where we're trying to inject comedy.
What did I say before? Marvel is doing it better than you, Star Wars. Poe is clearly stalling Hux for time.
He's tooling with us. You can see that all the other lieutenants aboard, they are not impressed by Hux.
Okay, I should mention, this is the only Star Wars movie where we don't have one of the main characters saying the infamous line, "I have a bad feeling about this." I guess BB-8 is the one saying it.
Everybody says that in all the other Star Wars films?
Yeah, you know who said, "I have a bad feeling about this"? We, the audience, going into this movie.
Ooh. Yeah, you came prepared with the burns, didn't you? Now, this is a little silly. It's like the cannons are not designed to defend the ship, so what are they for, you know? That's why we have fighters. We also have these cannons, but they don't really do anything important. The surface cannons exist to get blasted for a shot for the trailer, don't they?
Well, anymore, what we have, the trailers, it's just visual things to deceive you for when you finally do see the film.
Now, this is kind of interesting. BB-8 sinks down into his ship and actually physically fixes things, providing some kind of purpose for a droid in the back.
Okay, Kennedy finally does fire. He doesn't fire at Poe, he fires at the planet below. What was he taking so long to fire for?
I have no idea. Get back to your squad. You like how that ship rolled into the Star Destroyer like a hub there instead of behaving like it was in space? Oh, I think hold on, has he gotten rid of his right arm in this one?
Yeah, no more red arm. I was about to say that.
You're probably wondering why my arm is gold again.
Once again, Leia's reduced to being this useless general. Why even bring back the original cast at all? Just focus on the new characters.
You know, I think this movie gives you the most Poe Dameron. He doesn't have a heap to do in the prior or the last film, but you know, he gets to be doing his guitar solo here at the start, doesn't he?
And oh my god, would you look at how slow these bombers are moving. How long did it take for these things to leave the planet's surface to get up into space and join in on the battle? Look at how slow these things are moving.
Particularly intriguing, but these things, whatever they're called, the like gun clip bombers with the magazine of bombs there, could be the worst space shuttle design in fiction.
Certainly in Star Wars, and they're not even...
Man, they just targets. But in fairness, they're lining up their bombing run. That's what they're doing.
Kissing each other.
Yeah, well, Oh, and we'll see what that looks like too. All right, so we got cute girl in the A wing of sorts over here. Oh, here we go. We got super cool bombs. Somebody even painted on one of them. Pushing the button. Yeah, the geeks are really going to think this is cool. Wait till you see this. Oh, wait a minute. Turns out our ship that travels at Mach nothing and is just loaded with explosives. Turns out it's pretty vulnerable.
And one explosion just causes a chain reaction which takes out all the bombers close to one another. This
So
one.
we've got the hot Asian chick here. She's the ball turret. How would you like to be stuck in that job?
How is
Ball
their
turret at
ship
the
not
bottom end with
depressurizing
explosions.
from the blast at the very least?
I can kind of understand a shield's point, but then wouldn't you have to lower the shields so that the bombs could drop? What's this character's name? It's hotter older sister.
Yeah, Paige Tico, I believe. Okay, she pressed a button earlier to arm the bombs, and then it's another button to disarm them.
Yeah, and also she's knocked out. And when one gets knocked out, it's usually for a while. So you think a lot of time passed.
Wait a minute. The hatch door below. How are they not getting sucked out into space? The hatch door is open so that she can release the bombs. Instead, it's being quiet. They're amping up suspense so she can kick the ladder so the switch will fall. She'll miraculously catch it.
Yet you see the Star Destroyer below going by. And then we try to play this up as like suspenseful dramatic, but I'm not quite buying it. Are you?
No way. And where the bombs
What a
drop,
catch. The
look,
force is strong with her.
how
Yep.
are the bombs dropping straight down? There's no gravity in space.
But Michael, they're magnetic. They're magnetic bombs, and that's how they're not sticking to the metallic ship that they're in to begin with. And going straight to the Star Destroyer.
And
I'm
she
going to assume she
sacrifices
actually
herself
survived
anyway.
this. No, she survived. I mean, if Palpatine can survive, who can't?
What was Leia waiting for? Just get the fleet out of there. The bombers can make the jump to hyperspace too.
How many dreadnoughts are there?
Enough for them to feel overwhelmed in combat. But they're basically like the Super Star Destroyer.
And we're out.
Yeah, now they got away. This is a goofy moment right here where we see Snoke in hologram. How does he do this little trick where... Okay, first going into this, how are they going to rip off The Empire Strikes Back? Someone's going to get force choked. And which Hux kind of does here. How are they doing this little trick where he can force choke Hux, drop him to the ground, then this little trick where he's facing him the other way?
It sillifies it, doesn't it? Like, the force choke is scary, but the I'm going to pull you by your britches across the floor isn't.
What is Snoke so upset about anyway? Hux did his job by telling the captain of the dreadnought to shoot the Resistance fighter,
Okay,
but he
so
didn't.
also we are reintroduced to our everybody's favorite Finn, who is now comedy sidekick, firmly implanted in comedy sidekick realm.
He seemed to be in kind of sort of stable condition in the last movie. He was unconscious, but now now he's like in sick bay. I don't see an IV around him, but look at all that liquid pouring around him when he falls off the bed.
Yeah, because it's funny. He sprung leaks.
There should be a doctor there with the medics. There should be people. No, 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 wait. No,
Also,
stay
these
here.
guys are doing like, you're my best bro. They got the bromance going, Poe and Finn. Okay, so while Leia was fighting the Dreadnought, at the same time, Rey must have been walking up to Luke. Now we can see the colors are different here. Looks like the time of day may have changed.
And that's what I meant by
recreating this moment.
Some passive time we missed out on. Now we're re-beginning where the last movie left off. And, oh, are we in for a surprise here? Yeah, our first bits of Rian Johnson subverting our expectations. Luke has the lightsaber. What's he gonna do? Awkward staring moment. And... Oh, really?
I actually kind of like this the more I visit it. Because I'm not going to blame Rian Johnson for this. Jar Jar Abrams put in place Luke Skywalker running off like a little B word and hiding in the first place. Now he has to have a reason to hide because he's done. He's like, that's it. I'm done with being a Jedi. I'm done with the Force. Screw this. It's everything led to more ruin. I'm done. So I kind of understand why he's behaving this way. I don't think it's the right path for Luke Skywalker to go down, but J.J. Abrams brought this to happen.
Luke supposedly cut himself off from the Force when he went in hiding. But look at the door to his hut. That's one of his X-Wings.
I did not realize that. Now we have the porgs.
He had to use the Force to lift that thing. It weighs probably a ton.
No
probably
porgs
1,000 pounds.
No porgs when Miss Superforce over here first set foot on this island, but now there's porgs. And there we have the... God, why can't I not remember the name of those ships? The X-Wing at the bottom of... in the water. Oh, wow, the Force is strong with this gal. No, it's Chewie.
Okay, here's something I forgot to ask during The Force Awakens. Rey can understand Wookiee? What is there to this girl that she is not capable of? She is practically perfect in every way.
Rey is absolutely flawless. She makes no bad decisions. As I pointed out, she shot a blaster and failed to hit one guy the first time she shot it. And that's about as fallible as she is.
And now Luke asks, where's Han? After all this time, he couldn't sense Han's death from afar. But
so
we
how
cut
come
to...
General Hux wasn't on the Dreadnought? Was he not the supreme officer in the area during that battle?
He was on a Dreadnought, I guess, just not Snoke's main flagship. And why is Snoke acting so surprised that they knew of this technology and now they're tracking
Finally, we
the Resistance?
see Snoke on camera. What do you think of him?
What do I think of him? Here's what I think of him. You ready? He looks like Dopey from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs if he got his face all messed up.
He has a questionable asymmetric face structure.
And a gold wardrobe, no less.
You know what, though? If you didn't think that Supreme Leader Snoke was that compelling, Rian Johnson has a fix for that. Maybe he's all deformed because it's supposed to be like those who are super powerful with the dark side end up deformed.
Those corrupted by the dark side, as Palpatine was.
Corrupted, there you go. That's probably the better word to use. Take off that helmet. You don't need that.
Take that ridiculous thing off. Oh, yeah, he's demeaning
Got a carbon fiber
Kylo
Band-Aid.
Ren.
That girl
You're
gave
not
me
bad enough. One of the only mentions we have of Han Solo. Killing off Han Solo was a mistake. I don't care what Harrison Ford says, it was a mistake. And we have these basically rip-offs of the Emperor's Royal Guards.
Who admittedly didn't do anything in the original trilogy. Were in the background in Return of the Jedi, and that was it, if I recall.
Oh, he did enough.
Why is he looking at him with such disappointment? I mean, he largely did as asked of him, right? I don't need this helmet thing. You're right. That's silly. I look like a fool. But J.J. Abrams really liked the helmet, so that's going to get pieced together for the next film.
Well, no footage of him using his lightsaber to smash apart terminals, so he's got to have something similar here. Just smash his helmet.
Do the officers have a different kind of hat in this film? It almost has those ear flaps you see on those Russian military hats that people tie up.
Yeah, come to think of it, they do look different.
We need Luke Skywalker. I don't like him saying laser sword. That sounds a little too inside baseball. Like, we're changing the terminology to make fun of it in a way.
Maybe he's referencing George Lucas, kind of, because in interviews or behind the scenes featurettes, he would jokingly call a lightsaber a laser sword.
I think I've seen of these moments.
Oh, I feel Mark Hamill's pain so much. You know he hates this movie. He's trying, but you can tell he just doesn't have the same passion for coming back to play Luke Skywalker.
Didn't he get like $1 million for the Force Awakens without having to say a line?
At least.
I think it was $1 million. But I don't know what his paycheck was for this. Now we answered the question, where does the blue milk come from?
Oh,
the
God.
Question no one should have asked. This is why you leave some things a mystery, kids. She's looking on kind of with glee at this thing and then disgust.
Ugh.
Yep, there we go. You want some? And she's like, no, I'd rather not.
That is just so degrading and disgusting.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to hop to this side of the cliff.
Unusual way to go fishing, I might add.
Not a great method for fishing, I would add. It's shocking it even worked. But Ray, this is part of your training. You have to feel like there is no hope so that you know that you're the last hope.
You're wasting your time. Speak for yourself, Luke. Is he not at all worried what's going on back home? What happened to his sister? What? I don't know who Mark Hamill was playing in this movie, but it definitely was not Luke Skywalker. Is this the same character from the original trilogy?
You know, it's funny, when I quizzed my mom on the characters of this movie, I showed her Luke Skywalker, and she's like, I think that's Luke Skywalker.
We know the thing. Mark Hamill said, that's Jake Skywalker. Or is it Jake Alien Milker, maybe, more accurately?
So this island had importance to the Jedi. Like, they have some of their holy relics of sorts. He collected the scribblings, whatever. They're here. But I guess it's not a place anybody would search for Luke Skywalker to possibly be at.
And Luke goes on and on about how the Jedi are failures, and blah, blah, blah. And, okay, you failed to revive the Jedi Order. Okay, build a new Jedi temple on some other location.
Quite an elaborate shelf display area for like 5 books, right?
And there was so
Did,
much controversy seeing one of the teaser trailers where Luke says it's time for the Jedi to end. Many of us were hoping, myself included, maybe it's some other character saying that line. Now Luke's getting impatient with Rey, asking her more than once, "Why are you here?" Now Rey's all interested in all of this, as she should be, but just going off about, something inside me is always whatever, blah, blah, blah. No, her answer should be, "I'm here to save the galaxy from the First Order, you nitwit!"
Luke agreed that Jakku is pretty much nowhere. If only she'd said, "I'm from Tatooine." Hold on, let's talk. It's awake. The Force is awakened, remember? He is doing a bit of the Yoda thing. Not so comically drunk or any of that, but in his own way, he's pushing her off. Possibly testing Rey. Though it doesn't really come across that way ultimately.
And it is Luke saying that line.
To the credit of Rian Johnson, a lot of the problems that beset the Republic are Luke's fault. Because J.J. Abrams made him Luke's fault.
They were clearly at combat with each other.
All right, we have jumped out of hyperspace. This is where we're out of fuel, right? Like all of a sudden we have a fuel issue in Star Wars. It had always been before, I have to fix the hyperdrive. But now it's a fuel issue, so we're going to drift through space. The slow, incredibly awkwardly slow, prolonged chase of these ships, not the best call for the script. Not a good look. Cloaked binary beacon. That is more technobabble than I've heard in Star Trek in some time.
Oh, look who's back, Admiral Akbar.
There's more than one calamari aboard, though, right? So we don't know for sure which one is him.
Is there another? I can't remember. Wait a minute.
We've seen him before.
Okay,
they tracked us.
The
You've never
First Order
tracked
was
before, but now you
tracking
can.
the Resistance. They were following them in hyperspace. How are they in front of them all of a sudden when coming out of hyperspace?
Maybe they just came out of hyperspace ahead of them.
I hated J.J. Abrams'
I can solve any problem if I get my X-Wing.
Cut and paste approach of A New Hope to The Force Awakens as much as anyone, but at the very least, I kind of sort of understood what he was going for. Studying his filmography, the Star Trek reboots.
Copying things.
Yeah, copying things. He makes movies about heroes. What Rian Johnson does is he makes movies about anti-heroes. He's rooted in film noir. Here's a problem with these movies. They're hiring the wrong people to write and direct.
This is true, but they also didn't have a clear path for the three movies they wanted to make. And for some, I have no idea why. Why, if J.J. Abrams' goal is to make a Star Wars film, why is he not signed on to write and direct the three films? So you'd have a clear vision, even if it was one that was just, relic of the past. Let's just redo all the scenes that everybody liked. From the studio perspective, it just doesn't make sense to go about it this way. Oh no, we lost the hot chick in the A-Wing.
Kylo Ren should be dead right here. He flies his ship into the hangar, blasts it. How is he able to get out? There's no room to turn around. He should be blown up.
Looks like we lost a piece of BB-8, but ka-ching.
As I was saying, I mean, I love film noir, but its defining characteristics are there really are no heroes. With that, being
multiple
said...
calamari back there, Lee.
Yeah, okay, there is more than one. Here's what they should have done. Hear me out for a minute. Have Rian Johnson direct Solo, and have Ron Howard direct The Last Jedi. We might have gotten better films if that were the case. Oh, and of course, hire better writers.
Ron Howard seems like the kind of guy that George Lucas would pass the baton to, as they've worked together before. Like he would have his blessing.
I could see Ron Howard doing a film of this scale. He did Willow, I might remind you.
How you feel about that Willow series coming to Disney Plus?
I think I'll check it out.
Oh,
I mean, I love the movie.
Calamari down, Leia down. What are we to do? We can't cover you at this distance. Return to the fleet at once. That is just so that Hux can give orders. There's no real reason for him to be saying, you're in the middle of a dogfight. Call it off. I mean, it just doesn't make it much sense, does it?
Again,
And
what were they waiting for?
Look, we have one ship is like out of fuel, okay? But then these other ships are not. So why don't they just go ahead and finish the ships off?
Here comes. I really legitimately thought this was where they were going to kill Leia off.
This is the nuke the fridge moment in Star Wars here for many.
How in God's name is it possible to survive and breathe in outer space?
A character whom we've seen never use the Force before in the films is now using the Force in ways we've never seen used.
My mouth is still agape at this very moment. Okay, I'll dismiss it as the midichlorians are forming a protective bubble around Leia.
Now,
Fine.
Was Carrie Fisher possibly...
Now, right here! How are they opening the bay doors without getting sucked
None
into
of that
space?
makes any sense. No, that's why they cut away real quick. They had like a fade transition in there, stock dissolve. Just be like, okay, now she's on the med bay door stretcher. Okay, there we go. But she died before completing this film, right?
Yes.
I think there might be points in here where she's not actually talking, where some of her lines, it didn't... I don't know exactly where here, but I think there are points where it doesn't sound like her. And that may be later on when they're... Oh, yeah, here we are roasting one of the porgs, so that means it's dead. But we're going to make him feel bad about it? Like, this is a weird comedy bit.
This is Disney preaching their agendas over and over again. Now it's like they're trying to convince everyone to go vegan.
I should have ordered the Impossible Porg, or Beyond Porg. Is it okay if I have a look around the Millennium Falcon? All the fun I had sitting in one of those rear chairs. I never noticed the dice before we made it a thing in this movie. Never.
R2, hey little buddy. Oh yeah, I'm sorry I abandoned you back after the Jedi Temple burned down. How the dialogue must have gone when, or how it all happened when Luke gave the map to R2. I'm just, just imagine how that would have happened.
I don't know. I'm going to give you the map, but can you just shut off and not tell anybody?
Wait, what? What is this, Luke? It's just a big map I keep in my pocket, which is supplementary to a map you already have in your database that you don't know about. It's a map that takes you almost to an island we're going to go vacation on. Wait, what? You're leaving right now? Yeah, I gotta go. Aren't you gonna tell anyone about what's happened? No, I gotta run. I'll see you later. Wait, how am I gonna get off
But
this planet?
I think you do need to admit that it is a good move by R2D2 to try to inspire him by playing an old clip of Leia.
Oh, definitely. Something there for fan service, sure, but do what he can to convince Luke to come back and join the fight.
By playing that clip of Leia, it means the Resistance did not wipe the memory of R2D2, whereas previously they were like, oh, go ahead and wipe their memories. You know, if the trilogy ends, wipe the memory at the end of the trilogy, get them started new for the next one.
Now we're having
Right,
this
so this
assembly.
is the lesbian in charge here. And then she's going to bring another strong, powerful female in, Vice Admiral Holdo. Purple-haired gal in the background. I have problems with her getup. The dyed hair was not a Star Wars thing. I don't think any character, any human had dyed hair. Till now.
Yeah, Laura Dern, another actress wasted in these movies.
Now, she's not somebody I hate in most things, but boy do I hate her in this.
Daughter of Bruce Dern, no less.
Who was in Silent Running. An inspiration for Star Wars. Now we're building up how awesome she is. That's the one who like single-handedly won this battle, gal? Okay, if you say so. Look at all the women we got over here working on this thing, and there's a man coming over to talk. Go away, silly man.
Yeah, it's someone preaching her agenda. Women are superior. Her initials are KK. Does that ring a bell, anyone?
Kathleen. Yeah, it may ring a bell, yeah. She's doing everything she can to spit in his face here.
At every
Captain,
opportunity.
it's Commander. No, okay, whatever. Flyboy, you just go and do what the boys do. Let the women run the ship. There you go. Huh? And then, did you see that little bite move she did? Extending her neck. Just, huh? Right before she walks by.
Yeah.
Alright, Finn is getting into action mode. It is up to me to bail or find... What was his plan? Just leave?
What was that whole scene of them all together in that assembly meeting? Just the visuals
Just saying
here.
Hey, we've got a purple-haired gal that's going to be in charge now. Now, look, a lot of people hate Rose Tico. I actually think she's one of the better characters. She has an arc. She has some. She's sad. She lost her sister. We saw her sister briefly, died bravely. I don't think we can much disagree with that. She sees this guy kind of trotting off over here, like, what my family gave up, you're just going to bail on us? Did it need to turn into a we have to rescue the animals and, fight for love thing? Probably not. But I think she has a better story here than Finn does. Finn just kind of happens into his character arc. Like, oh, I mean, I guess I can finish Phasma in this movie. I might try to sacrifice myself, but, get kind of blocked out of that. And you know what? She has silly hair, which I kind of like in the Star Wars females. Like they give Carrie Fisher the bun, and this gal's got this sort of like curved wing hair thing. I don't know. It's just, I'm not saying it's a good hairstyle, but it's fitting of Star Wars.
It's almost that 1970s salad bowl haircut look.
So is she like a mechanic?
Something like that. Again, making her more dominating than Finn.
I've got to get this beacon far away from here, or she'll come back to the place where she was going to rendezvous. We're trying to get into this. How did they track us through hyperspace? Yeah, that's right. We can find out how they tracked us to track them. Which is not particularly necessary because they know where the First Order is. So why would you need to track them? And if the plan is to shut down their tracker, what good is it if the First Order has found them and no longer needs to track them anymore? They are out of fuel. Does any of this plan make sense to you?
I'm still trying to make sense out of it. I haven't seen this movie in quite some time.
But they do end up consulting the goggle-eyed chick, Goggle Yoda, from the cantina. I can't remember her name. Useless character.
Yeah, Maz Kanata, we'll see her.
Maz, yeah,
pretty soon.
we see her in hologram form, and she's busy fighting off ghosts or something. Like, she has her own thing she's doing.
How far
which
away
might
is
be more
Maz
exciting
from their
than this.
location? Okay,
God
that's another
knows.
thing. They can send a message to communicate with Maz, but they couldn't send a message earlier when they were evacuating. Didn't I see some huge thing that looked like basically a satellite dish on the planet wherever they were evacuating from?
Here's Maz looking like a Ghostbuster. One guy I trust who can crack that security.
Oh, so we have to go off on this mission to find this code breaker.
And then it gets sexual, yeah. How does she know what he's wearing today? I'm not going to give you the guy's name, but he's going to be wearing a red rose, basically. That was the dumbest conversation they possibly could have had. It could not have been worse.
Oh, here we go, back on Temple Island, whatever, call this place what you will. Octu.
It don't matter. How you like Star Wars surgery bot over there? Haven't seen that before. Gone is the carbon fiber band-aid. In its place, space Skype with the Force Skype chat, Force Zoom meeting.
Which is kind of sort of believable. Remember, we saw Luke and Vader communicate towards the end of The Empire Strikes Back. But it's like, does that ability have a range limit as to how far away whoever you're talking to on the other side has to be?
I think the range limit is an assumption. You know, a fair assumption, right? These two are nowhere near each other. You're not doing this. The effort would kill you. Who's behind this? Now, for Rian Johnson, it would seem as though Snoke is behind this. But no, we are told the puppet master the whole time was Palpatine.
Between this and The Rise of Skywalker, it's like, even the prequel trilogy with their politics and whatever never had me feeling this way. These were the first two Star Wars movies where I literally said to myself,
You know what?
I'm bored.
People, yeah, exactly. The prequel trilogy had the politics chatting up, all that stuff, but it wasn't as boring as this. There's
What am I
something
watching
weirdly
here?
boring here.
Even that earlier scene where they were having the conference of who's going to take over now. Am I watching Star Trek or Star Wars? And when Finn was going around at all those pods, I literally thought for a moment there I was watching Spaceballs. And Spaceballs is a better Star Wars movie, I might add. It's just a parody. Heck, the episode of The Muppet Show from the fourth season that had Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker, we had Chewbacca, we had C-3PO, we had R2-D2. That felt more faithful to Star Wars than this.
So across this whole island, there are different key relic points of the Jedi religion, which are never really explained. Like, this must be the holy room where they gathered to do something, and there's this emblem on the ground, but the audience hasn't seen it before, so how are we supposed to connect with that? Finally, he's going to teach me stuff.
What does Rey need to be taught? She's already more powerful than Luke ever was.
By the way, that previous shot where it showed them, the wide shot of them going out to the cliff, that was some of the worst looking chroma keyed work in the sequel trilogy.
okay, they're kind of
it's
sort
also
of getting
remarkable.
comical. Like, I
Yeah,
didn't mean reach out, like, actually reach out your hand. Reach out with your mind. And he's tickling her hand with the branch, then slaps her.
you you can kind of imagine Yoda doing the same thing, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
It is weird how horrible CGI rocks look in this movie. When we've seen the CGI they were capable of in The Force Awakens. We're like 50 minutes in, and we had a space battle. Not a whole lot else, have we?
Rey went to this island to get Luke to help and come back to and join the fight. With all this,
And
reach out
instead, it
with your
became a
feelings.
training session, didn't it?
Now we're doing this training session. How is this relevant to the situation at hand? No, they're not ripping The Empire Strikes Back entirely. They're not ripping The Empire Strikes Back off entirely with this movie. What this movie is doing is The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi on crack. The whole movie is
Okay,
in
but
limbo.
but in fairness to the film, I prefer this telling a new story. Granted, not a good story, compared to rehashing the A New Hope the way the previous film did. I would give the benefit of the doubt to originality. Now, whatever it is that this whole she's witnessing and stuff, it's kind of just nonsense. Like, is this how one falls into the dark side? Oh, he seems suddenly concerned.
They're
Now,
doing
there is a
something.
decent point made here, though. He says you go straight to the dark side.
They're
She is
doing.
a Palpatine, ultimately, right?
Yeah, they're kind of teasing us a bit here, but they're doing something similar to Luke's whole Jedi training. Remember when he was sensing some evil presence in the cave? That they're doing something similar here.
I'm not really sure what Luke was to glean from that, but it was sort of a tease that he was Vader's son before the big reveal that still surprised everybody. You know, because he cuts off Vader's head, but his mask is open and it's Luke's head inside, and so that kind of ends up foreshadowing the reveal. And in a way, it looks like they're actually setting her up to be a Palpatine. That looked way too much like the TARDIS flying through, didn't it? Their ship. Alright, so we escaped. We used like the last of the fuel to escape to Canto Bight or whatever. Something like that, right?
Oh, Chewie's got company.
Well, we have to give Chewie something to do, and that is adopt all the porgs. What we need in this movie is another slow Skype chat. You know, really slow things down before it gets too exciting.
We're doing a little bit of some visual similarities where Kylo Ren was looking out the window there. It's kind of like Darth Vader on the bridge of his Star Destroyer looking out the windows.
We're sowing the seeds of romance with these chats, aren't we?
Yeah, Raylo or
It,
whatever that thing's called.
if without them, it would seem even more forced by the end of the Rise of Skywalker. I'm sorry, but the titles of these movies just do not roll off my tongue. Every time I'm about to say it, I'm like, the, uh, yeah, that one.
And it's never really explained up until the next movie why Rey is so powerful.
Look at that. It's the TARDIS. I swear.
It's not just that. All throughout these movies, she wears the same wardrobe. Wears that same white and gray wardrobe covered.
This side quest is completely pointless. This is, 30 minutes of the movie we could have spared the audience?
Let's tell a good story, but no, that's impossible. Let's tell a story of love conquers all. Let's go to a casino world. Let's
We
free
want to
all
go to
these
the
poor
casino world.
disenfranchised animals.
If we go to the casino world, we want to tell the audience that there's people getting rich off the war.
Uh-huh.
The best way to do that is we'll just have a shot of a casino.
If I want to see a casino scene in a movie, I'll watch a James Bond movie. Or maybe even a Martin Scorsese movie. Yes,
That is
I get
one
it.
awkwardly crowded casino, isn't it? Like, we needed all the extras to hound these 3 tables
I get it,
for that
movie.
one shot.
Rich people are evil. Rich people are capitalists. I get it. That's how it is in the real world. But here's the thing. I don't want that in a Star Wars movie.
You know what would also be funny? If every male in the casino had the red plum, rose, bloom, whatever. Star Wars champagne. I wonder if Disney bottles that. Has that for sale. It's an older crowd in there too, isn't it? Everybody looks 40 plus. It's horrible. They're letting the animals run. We screw up in a poor mining system.
Okay, so this is kind of sort of the Cloud City wannabe, this casino planet.
A less interesting Cloud City, yeah. Man, some of these composite shots do not look good at all. Like the little kids right there look like they're inside a green screen studio. She's explaining the evils of the bad guys to a guy who was, a child slave soldier put on maintenance duty? Like he needs to hear it? There we go, the guy with the red thing. Is that an actor we're supposed to recognize, like, in a cameo role?
The actor's name is Justin Theroux. I've seen him in something. I can't quite remember what.
Oh, it's ex-Mr. Jennifer Aniston. I believe. I think he had some episodes in Parks and Rec. I can never recognize him. He was in this really bad movie everybody likes, Mulholland Drive. He drove the Porsche Boxster. He was like the movie director guy.
I think he was in American Psycho, too. One of the executives.
Yeah, but just about everybody was. Jared Leto was in that. It's so important that you train with this stick, right? Oh, now you're ready to train with the lightsaber, huh? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, give Rey some obstacles here. Give her something that she has to avoid. Another floating ball thing shooting lasers at her. Give her a swarm of bees, even.
Was I just not paying attention? Did she pick that up out of the ocean wherever Luke dropped it or threw it, right?
Good point.
Where'd
She
that
picked
come
it up
from?
somewhere. I think she picked it up a little while ago when, after Luke threw it away. She found it on the ground or in the grass somewhere, and now she's using it to train. Timber.
This is not as impressive as I think they thought it would look. Like, okay, you can wave the glow stick around. We got it. We know it already cuts through stuff. So if we haven't seen it cut through things, that would be impressive, but we've kind of seen that before.
And these caretakers, basically these little frog things wearing these nun clothing, they
Frog
weren't there in the
nuns,
last
yeah.
movie either.
They were not there. Them and the porgs. This was an abandoned site. Luke was like, look, I'm going to need some company. But I don't want humans. No humans.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. What's that, Luke? At the height of their powers, they allowed Darth Sidious to rise to power? No, 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 no. No, 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 no. What did Mace Windu say in Attack of the Clones? I think it is time that we inform the Senate that our ability to use the Force has diminished. Really, Luke, if you're so disenfranchised in the Force and the whole thing of the Jedi, teach people a better way. Why does it have to be everything or nothing?
Luke Skywalker, the character who saw good in Darth Vader and refused to kill him, was somehow willing to preemptively kill off his not turned to the dark side yet nephew. That is a thing that I have problems with. That is against the Luke ethos right there.
Same here. And when we get to the scene, that's the only scene we have of Luke and Kylo in flashback.
I think people would have liked to have seen almost an entire movie dedicated to training the new Jedis. Like this sequel trilogy started in the wrong place. It needed to show the downfall of a prosperous galactic republic that was reestablished, not just have that happen off camera. In fact, the going-ons of this series, this trilogy, should be the next trilogy. Like, there should have been one before that had all the heroes in their leadership roles, being adequate heroes, and then something happened that caused a downfall to make another set of films, I guess.
Luke is going on and on. We get it. You failed. Okay, do something to fix your failure. Rey acts all lost. I need someone to show me my place in all of this. What might that be?
Kylo failed you? I don't know. It kind of looked to me like the assassination attempt was thwarted by Kylo, from his perspective, all reasonable accounts. Oh, but he was going to kill him with the lightsaber, but he stopped. So you can't blame him. No, I can blame him, because that was stupid. Okay, so somebody breaks into your house and they've got a gun over your head, and you flinch and you wake up, and now you're supposed to be like, oh, well, he didn't pull the trigger, so it's my fault for fighting back. Like, that's the logic the movie kind of wants you to have.
But the way
I'm
Luke
sorry,
tells...
our ships are running out of fuel. We have to kind of just crash. It's been an honor, Admiral.
But what Luke tells Rey, as we find out later, is not what actually happened.
He said, Godspeed rebels, not Godspeed resistance.
What a wardrobe Laura Dern has here, too. She's got part of her uniform there, or a section of it, like, wrapped around her neck.
Long neck on that gal. And she's old. Got to keep that covered up. Without the code breaker, good thing we're in prison next to a guy who happens to be a code breaker. And why would we not separate these two in the brig, right?
And enter another good actor wasting these movies, Benicio del Toro.
Benicio del Toro is one of the best actors you can possibly get. And he's given shit all to do. In fact,
This
it's
is a
so
guy who
bizarrely comical.
this is a guy who played a James Bond henchman. I might remind you,
Yeah, I think that was his
Dario
first
in
role.
License to Kill.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that. Yeah, I didn't even recognize. I thought he was great in that before I knew who he was, and I'm like, was that him? And no one ever brought it up, right? But yeah, he was a scary ass villain too in that.
oh, I love License to Kill. I don't care what anyone says. Timothy
Got a
Dalton
license
rocks.
to kill. Yeah,
Going off
well,
topic here, but that also had some good actors playing henchmen. We had Don Stroud, Everett McGill. We had Robert Davi playing the villain.
there was a sort of side side quest villain of sorts in Wayne Newton.
Yeah, he was their televangelist, basically
Yeah.
using the place as a front to get profits.
So this guy is in the prison for the hell of it, right? Because he can get out anytime he wants, but he
He's
was just
there.
waiting for someone to tell him he should leave.
He's there simply for plot convenience to help Finn and Rose escape, and then kind of sort of be an ally, or maybe be an ally, and then betray them later.
But weirdly enough, zero comeuppance. Well, I mean, we can assume that he even escaped the battle and everything. Like, we never saw him die on screen, right? He seems to be gifted a position with the First Order.
And this guy seems kind of creepy. Why would they
These
trust
guys'
him anyway?
uniforms. The uniforms of these cops look like they're out of Futurama. The cops from Futurama. Yeah, we need a space horse. I don't know. Did they have names for these things? No, I mean, it
Fathiers are
doesn't
what
matter.
fathiers are what they're called. Just basically these brown CG horses with bunny ears.
I know there's a PlayStation game that looks like these things from the creators of Shadows of the Colossus.
Seriously,
It's
did
also
people really have their hopes high that Disney would do a better trilogy than what George Lucas gave us with the prequel trilogy? Look how these
how
films turned
come
out.
only little kids are in the area? It's like only little kids work with these creatures. They don't have anybody overseeing this.
Well, judging by their uniforms, they're slaves. Seemingly.
It's okay. We're with the resistance. Do you recognize this little symbol on my ring? Probably not.
And here we go, another drawn out, unexciting chase scene going on. Destroying everything inside of the casino. Who's going to clean up all that? All the slaves you have
child
working for all the rich people.
Yeah. What's going to happen to all of these, barn-raised animals turned loose? Are they going to be able to fend on their own out in the wilderness? Probably not. This is supposed to be exciting stuff, right? They look like they are less on this creature than Luke was on a speeder through the redwood forest. Is your blood boiling? They certainly have a uniform on this planet, right? Like space tuxedo.
It seems there's a color dominating each respective film. There's a lot of gold in this.
Yeah, there's some gold. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think that there was any intention to have a color that spoke for this film because like then you end up with the all red throne room area. There's the planet that has the, the red dust underneath the salt.
Well, they're sure doing okay at holding on to these things as they're running so
With
fast.
no saddle, nothing, no reins.
Obviously, these things are very agile.
Make them hurt? Did that affect them really? You didn't take out a power plant? Oh, so they did have a saddle. Okay. But, I mean, it's a saddle for one, right? Now it's worth it. Oh, man, that really hurt people right there. Now that it's free, it's definitely worth it. We're the space police. Security. Casino district.
Yeah, he's talking in kind of a bit of a stutter or a mumble, just like he did in The Usual Suspects.
Yeah, he does that. Yeah, you're right. I was kind of wondering, where have I seen him do that before? How important is it that we have a heads-up display for the person who's in the coma to look at? Is Ray thinking, maybe I'm kind of wasting my time here? Like, I mean,
Yeah,
the
we
guy's
think you
really
are
not
too,
even
Ray.
trying to train me.
I think you have more
Oh, yeah,
important
these
matters.
pants. That should be the thumbnail for this video. He's got the high-waist pants thing going, the high-waist leather pants. In fairness to the female crowd who was really swooning over Kylo over this, I think he bulked up. I think he was far skinnier in The Force Awakens. What do you think?
Yeah, I can see it. He does look bulkier.
You probably know this, but the actor who plays Kylo Ren, whose name is lost on me right now, he was I think he was in the Army or the Marines, and he got injured as he was about to go off into battle. Like, I think he had a rock climbing or BMX bike accident. And because of the injury, he broke a leg or something like that, he ended up kind of defaulting into an acting career.
Okay, now we're seeing supposedly what actually happened. Luke igniting a lightsaber over his own nephew. That right there is completely out of character.
This version of the story is the one that makes sense to me, that seems believable. Luke shouldn't be in that situation in the first place. No, but I just turned the lightsaber. I wasn't going to strike. I thought I was there to strike him, but I decided not to. But he thought I was actually going to kill him. And so, Luke, you're the one to blame for this. And it's a move that's entirely out of character of Luke Skywalker, and it shouldn't have happened in the first place. Why does this part exist on the island? We couldn't. I don't know. It's like the good Jedi temple place also has to have the dark side of the Force nearby.
This whole mirror cave scene is
A waste of time.
not only that, it's referencing when Luke goes into the cave and sees Darth Vader in The Empire Strikes
Yeah,
Back.
true.
It's like a test, confronting your own fears, your own doubts.
But look, if we wanted to make this the Empire Strikes Back of this trilogy, they could have ended it earlier than they did and had a major plot twist to end the film. Because the Empire Strikes Back essentially ends on the plot twist, no, I am your father. There's no plot twist here other than I guess Snoke isn't going to be the big bad of the trilogy. And then the movie keeps going on so that it doesn't end on that note.
But this is teasing us a little. There's something going on with Rey's past that a hint of dark side in her, maybe?
This is silly. The mirror cloned Rey's thing, it's almost like the Matrix, whatever the one that got all preposterous with the explaining. Was it the second one? Oh, you've done this before. We've done this 1,000 times. I look like Colonel Sanders. That's what this reminds me of.
And you said something earlier that, Kylo Ren being shirtless for the women in the audience. Well, are the men in the audience really feel it's something for Rey?
We never get the Rey bikini like we did the Leia bikini, right?
No. And again, all throughout these movies, Rey wears the same wardrobe, white and gray, covered. She looks like a mummy. Okay, listen, I'm going to name a couple actresses in their respective roles. Let's see what they all had in common. Natalie Portman as Padme. Carrie Fisher as Princess Leia in her prime. Helen Slater as Supergirl. Julie Newmar as the original Catwoman. Brie Larson as Captain Marvel. All of these actresses playing their respective roles have something Daisy Ridley as Rey never had. Sex appeal.
Why the hell did you mention Brie Larson? I was like, okay, you're going somewhere with this. Brie Larson, what the hell was she wearing? She was covered head to toe the entire film.
Well,
and it was just a giant biatch to every male she came across.
Yeah, but that movie explains how she got her powers. We don't explain how Rey got her powers. Until episode 9. We know it's coming. Give me Natalie Portman's sweet, sexy voice any day over Daisy Ridley with her, "This is the Millennium Falcon. You're Han Solo." Why?
I never understood the British accent for her.
These British actresses left and right. We see them all over the place. Yes, if it's a good classically trained British actor or actress, as we had in the original trilogy, I'm totally on board. Christopher Lee.
Well, they shoot so much of this in England, and one of the stipulations of shooting outside the U.S. is often that you have to have a number of actors, particularly in the main cast, be of origin of that country. See, other countries have these film boards that allow opportunities for people in the industry, whereas the United States doesn't, because the United States just lets Hollywood run roughshod over the whole entertainment industry. You go shoot in Canada, and then you wonder why there's so many Canadian actors in the movies. That's because they're shooting in Canada.
Well, you had good classically trained British actors playing the Imperial officers throughout the original trilogy. But you had Christopher Lee, Alec Guinness, Peter Cushing. I mean, Peter
eventually
Mayhew
those guys
and Kenny
die.
Baker
They
and
get
Anthony
old
Daniels,
and they
they're
die.
British too.
Yeah, you have to give young people an opportunity somewhere. Unfortunately, their only opportunities are in legacy sequel soft reboots and remakes.
And now Rey attacks Luke. And she
I would
beats
attack him too. Honestly, he's causing a lot of problems for the Resistance, isn't he? He ran off. He basically turned Kylo Ren to the dark side. Ben Solo into Kylo Ren. I mean, he caused a lot of these issues. She should be upset at him.
And he's refusing to come back and join the fight.
Here's his version of it. We're doing the Rashomon thing here. No, this is what I saw.
They're like
Saw the
kids in
darkness.
trouble, all telling their own story. This is how it happened. No, this is how it happened.
See, then I turned the lightsaber on and I was going to kill him, but then I decided not to. But somehow I shouldn't be blamed for this. Like, no, you're in the wrong, my dude. This is attempted homicide. It's self-defense.
And I hate to break this to you, Luke, but killing apprentices in their sleep is not what the Jedi do. That's actually an ancient Sith practice.
I cannot blame Kylo Ren for this. It's not something Luke Skywalker should have done, but the blame as they wrote it is placed on Luke Skywalker.
And to be fair, Kylo Ren, or Ben Solo, call him what you will, was acting in self-defense. But at the same time, what happened that made Ben Solo turn to the dark side? How did Snoke seduce him to the dark side? We're basically retelling the story of how Darth Vader fell to the dark side under Palpatine's seduction. Why do we care? What do we need to know? It's the same story all over again.
But how this happened would have made for a more compelling story instead of us drawing assumptions for how it could have happened. It would have made for the better movie. Like that, what we just saw right there, that could have been the third film in the new sequel trilogy of showing how Kylo becomes bad. And then Kylo could be like the villain for the next trilogy, in a way. You ever seen this before? The stick of dynamite lighter in Star Wars?
Maybe here and there, but not until Star Wars up until now.
Puppet Yoda as a Force ghost.
Oh, look who's back!
Looks oddly extra green.
This too is Luke out of character. Burning down everything. I think, in some ways, this is Disney telling everyone, all those books you love from the expanded universe, page turners they are not.
Yeah, you're kind of right.
Disregard, you know what? That's what this movie is telling us. Disregard everything that is not Disney Star Wars. Let the past die. The prequel trilogy,
Puppet Yoda
the original
looks
trilogy, everything you love up until now, let the past die.
Does Puppet Yoda have a thyroid condition? He's got a little bit of extra fat in his cheeks.
Whoa! Hold on. Force ghosts can do things like this? Well, gee, Yoda, where were you when we needed you during the Battle of Endor? You could have used the lightning to destroy the shield generator.
If he can just send lightning to do stuff, interact with the world.
Force ghosts can harness physical reality now? What?
Is this the last time we have Frank Oz as the voice of Yoda?
Well, according to... if we're going just by episodes 1 through 9, it is. But Frank is 78 now, so... I don't know. Maybe he'll do some voice acting.
What do you think about
He's pretty much retired from the Muppets.
What do you think about the James Earl Jones AI voice scenario? You're familiar with that, right? Like he signed over the digital version of his voice to be continued on as Darth Vader using AI.
I haven't read much on that one.
I actually like it. It's it's like saying, look, you young whippersnappers out there who think you can do a Darth Vader impression and make money off my character, screw you. My family is going to make money off of my voice legacy, not you guys getting some opportunity to take a crack at it. Make the young kids come up with their own roles.
Because who else can do
Bloated
the voice
Yoda.
as well as James Earl Jones? Some roles out there, certain actors, it's like no one can do it better.
We're not going to call the fire department, are we? This is just going to keep burning. It's isolated. There's enough rock here. This doesn't impose a problem for the nun frog people.
God, how far into this are we even? How? God, this movie
This is a long ass movie. It's 2.5 hours long, but it feels like 5 hours.
It's 2 hours and 35 minutes long. It's longer than Attack of the Clones by 13 minutes, even.
We're only an hour and a half in. Holy Christ. Does it feel like we're 2 hours in already? Or you were hoping?
Well, it's certainly been quite some time. Just, God, the running time of this movie. The pacing's all over the place. Episode of Roots never had me this bored.
Do your code breaking. It kind of seems like Benicio's character is quirky for the sake of it. Like, not that we get anything out of it.
Yeah, but like I said, he's kind of creepy too. Finn and Rose should be doubting if they can really trust this guy.
I think they feel like they can trust him. He did rescue them. He got them out of the jail because he decided it was time to get out of jail. And he picked them up in the ship.
Yeah, seemed to happen out of plot convenience too. He's got interesting mottos, though. Live free, don't join. Oh, I get it. DJ,
When your
don't
ship
join.
runs out of fuel, it just kind of like doesn't keep going the course it's on. It sort of floats to the surface like a dead goldfish to get shot. Belly up, yeah. We have to stage a coup, guys. The women are running this place into the ground. Look, there's not a lot of people here. We should all be able to trust each other. But it's so important that I keep you out of the loop to build a plot that didn't need to happen.
I was
Flyboy.
being perfectly reasonable, asking, "What's the plan? What's the plan? What's the plan? What's the plan?"
He's commander of your X-Wings. Like, maybe he should know what's going on. Also, her plan is moronic. The Holdo maneuver BS gets way too much defense. You're a traitor and a coward. How many people are on this ship, you reckon? It can't be that many, because don't they have like only like 20 total?
Yeah, not counting everyone who got
when
blown
they-
up earlier.
Well,
Admiral Akbar
okay, so
included.
on this ship, on this ship at present, it can't be more than 30 people because they all hang out on the Millennium Falcon by the end of the movie. And we saw what the crowd looked like. And we're told that's the last of the Resistance.
Yeah, good luck on your mission, Ray. Everyone's counting on her.
All right, I have to go talk with Kylo. He'll understand. They won't blast me right here where I'm probably most vulnerable.
Yeah, we're redoing Return of the Jedi. Luke has to confront Darth Vader to turn him to the light side. We're doing the same thing.
Yes. We've been waiting for you. We have all of our stormtroopers in line.
In alternate reality, though, I could see Adam Driver and Daisy Ridley being Jason Solo and Jaina Solo.
He's doing that code breaking.
If they do a route they should have done with the expanded universe, but maybe it's for the best they didn't, because seeing how they screwed up these movies, I shudder to think how they would have screwed up the expanded universe. But they just threw all that out of the canon, rebranded it as Legends.
So this movie feels long, and it goes on. It's going to get to what looks like a clear end and then go for another 30 minutes. It looks like this is the climax, doesn't it? Like we're going to have something go down with the ship. They're going to have a sword fight, laser swords, like all the stuff's going down, but then we're going to kind of keep going. Like we're staging the coup against the women.
We're just going to do this ridiculous mutiny. I am resuming command now.
They move stun them. This is kind of funny. It looks like a ship landing, but it's actually an iron. Empty that trash.
They steal those uniforms awful easy.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, they had the code breaker with them. This droid's not exactly fooled. I don't know why we bother putting shackles on her. Like, they made a thing of it. The camera panned over to the shackles. They opened up. We got a close-up of them. But they're fairly irrelevant.
So Snoke can use the Force to undo the shackles, same way Palpatine used the Force to undo Luke's. I think that's what's coming.
So I actually did a commentary track a couple nights ago on It Follows. And it is a boring kind of indie-esque horror film with a lot of meandering, a lot of extended takes that go on too long to pad out its runtime. And that movie's like an hour 45 minutes, which is about what we're coming up on. All you had to do is bring her to me. My faith is restored.
Yeah, we're redoing where Darth Vader brings Luke to the Emperor. This doesn't look familiar at all.
Good thing that necklace that half your sister had, it came in super useful. Just the right size.
Maybe they should have
Does he
just
have his
had
hat on backwards?
Maybe they should have just had the Master Codebreaker break them out of prison, and he's the one helping them out.
But like I said, what difference does it make if you stop their tracker? Your ship can't go anywhere.
And look at all these little glass monitors around. They look basically the same as the ones on Hoth at the control base where they were.
Yeah. Here's her saying pew.
Oh, yes, I see that. Tell me it doesn't look like she's making pa-choo, pa-choo, pa-choo sound effects.
Yeah. Yeah, why does Benicio have his cap backwards? I'm a protocol droid and I have to follow correct protocol.
Oh, it's the
It's a
evil
trap.
BB-8, BB-9E. Captain Phasma is back. Okay, so they didn't throw her in the trash compactor, or did they?
And she, if wherever they put her, she escaped the Starkiller base before it exploded. I'm awake. See, it was part of the plan that I fake being in a coma. I guess. Okay, so they actually probably do have a lot of people. They've had different transports that are escaping, I guess. But then this transport is the one that everybody hangs out in. Do all the transports go to the same place? The red salt planet?
I think they do.
If that's the case, then maybe they do ultimately only end up with like 30 survivors or less. This is a really stupid plan. I'm going to stay here. But don't worry, I have a really cool sacrifice kamikaze move I'm going to do. We couldn't have, I don't know, a droid pull this off? Or the ship's computer?
Or
be told to do it? We had to have a human?
Or,
Are you
if
kidding
we're
me?
really going to kill the character off, have Admiral Akbar do it. Like if you've seen how it should have ended, their video on this.
No, I've not. Though Admiral Akbar doing the sacrifice would be, I mean, it's still dumb, but it's more fitting that it's a character that we've seen before and having something of relevance to do.
Instead, we kill him off by having him get sucked out into space or blown up.
Yeah, how come Admiral Akbar couldn't swim back in? He's half squid. But you're right, he did unshackle her for the hell of it. And then now he's moving her about. She is correct. Underestimating Ben Solo is his downfall.
Oh, big reveal. Snoke was who bridged their minds. No wonder their discussions were so random.
I kind of don't mind that. You know, if he's the big bad, or we're led to believe he's powerful with the Force, he could do something a little different than what others are capable of and do the Force Skype meeting. You know what would be interesting? His ex-lover is the gal with the Ghostbuster conflict and the goggle eyes. Like, maybe they're like of the same race, possibly. Like, they kind of look related. Maz, right? It's hard for me to remember a lot of these characters' names because they're just forgettable as hell.
Oh, did you see that? No, we're not ripping off Return of the Jedi. Instead of force using Force lightning, Snoke's gonna whatever he's doing to Rey there, force rape her.
Yeah, the something with the feminists have this concept of the mind rape being like as bad as physical contact, which it's the type of logic that is the silence is violence and words are violence, and it's like no, actual violence is violence. You shouldn't dilute the concept of violence to fit your needs. So yeah, how come she can't? I guess they're setting up Snoke to be pretty powerful because remember she shut out Kylo Ren from investigating her mind before she even knew what the Force was. All right, we're escaping. What's this big plan Holdo's got? Oh yeah, it's moronic. Okay. Rebels. I thought they were resistance.
They don't have the capability to autopilot a ship even. Have a
No, everything's dumb.
yeah, have a droid do it at the very least, or oh, DJ betrayed them for money.
Your ship in payment, as we agreed. What does the payment look like? Is it just more of those coins he was fawning over?
Are they Republic
What does
credits?
the red shoulder pad designate? Is that like a squad leader? I cut a deal. Everything was a setup. The movie's making the villains look really smart, or is it making the good guys look stupid?
Both.
Slow-moving transports. I don't see what could have stopped them from shooting these transports in the first place. Not that they needed Benicio del Toro to do anything to allow them to shoot them.
Yeah, we're rehashing Return of the Jedi. It's the space battle. It's a trap.
Your friends
the same
are
thing
dying.
all over again.
Your friends will die. Ha ha ha. Yeah. That might have been funnier than it should have been, smacking her upside the head. Now you will be really impressed by my ability to move you around.
Come, girl, see for yourself. From here, you will witness the final destruction of the Resistance and the.
It's like, do we?
Oh, I'm
we
sorry,
really
wrong movie.
Yeah. You guys, strike a pose for me in the background. Some of them have different helmets. Like they kind of, there's a way to distinguish them, but it's silly. My thing is making people kind of levitate and move them around. All right, Michael, we're about to have a first here. You're going to have to take over. I'm going to have to dip and go to the restroom. I don't think we're missing a whole lot here, other than what I've said before.
All right, standing by.
No, I mean, just continue, but make sure you chat with yourself.
All right. Oh, the all-powerful Snoke. He senses so much. I cannot be beaten. Yeah, your dialogue isn't cliche at all, Snoke. Look at the lightsaber. Kylo Ren's manipulating it to strike towards Snoke. What's gonna happen? Boom. Oh. Who saw that coming? The all-powerful Snoke taken out just like that. You know, when I saw this in theaters, people in the audience were clapping at this scene. Oh great, now Kylo and Rey are going to join forces. Look at them. You ready? Let's do this. Look how choreographed this fight is. One of them even turns around the wrong way, like it's off cue. Oh, this movie is all over the place. Where were we now? Oh, yes. It's just business. Yeah, kind of like it was just business and License to Kill. DJ got his profit, was paid off well. Goodbye, Benicio del Toro. I'm sure they paid you well. Oh, the intensity is there in this duel, but just not the excitement. That's the problem with these movies going into it. It's all predictable. Like I said, going into the sequel trilogy, we knew where the story was kind of sort of heading, but not exactly how it was going to get there. Going into these movies, it was all predictable. What is there about Rey that she can't do? She has to help Kylo Ren survive in a fight against men who should be weaker than him. She has no flaws. Rey's concerned about the issue at hand. It's time to save the fleet. Look at all the destruction on that throne room. Everything burning. Smoldering ashes, things falling everywhere. All the bits and flaming pieces. It's like Die Hard when Nakatomi Plaza gets blown up. teasing us here, making Rey's whole origin kind of sort of a mystery. How did Kylo know about all of this? Yeah, you were born from whatever, slave dealers or whatever. You're nothing. But you're not nothing to me. Now imagine, people, how much of a cliffhanger would this have been if the movie ended right? Okay, we're coming up on it. Yeah, now she's going to take action and do something. Here it comes. Or just right before there, boom, cut to credits. How much of a cliffhanger would it have been if the movie ended right there? That would have been a cliffhanger. Have Rey extend her hand to Kylo, boom, cut to credits. This movie is just so much more longer than it needs to be. Ooh, we're amping up suspense. They're about to execute Finn and Rose. I thought for sure they were going to have Laura Dern be, I don't know, maybe Mara Jade, and she was Rey's mother. Why not do something to make the audience even more irate? Bastardize the original canon if we're going by expanded universe even more. But to this film's credit, it does have amazing visuals, like right here. Hyperspace, hold a maneuver, boom! Boom, 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 boom! Just a sudden riff, no sound, and the ship goes down. We don't hear the explosion, nothing. But there's always some situation where everything looks desperate, everything looks hopeless, but then something happens or someone makes a heroic sacrifice to get them out of a desperate situation. Oh, look who's come to the rescue. BB-8 manning one of these walkers. Everything's on fire amid this hangar bay. Where can they find a safe place to seclude themselves among all this crossfire? They do Captain Phasma just as much injustice as they did Darth Maul. They should have had Phasma around for all three films. Oh, look, right there where the helmet cracks. Is that really Gwendolyn Christie under that mask? Look at Phasma's eye, from what we see of that cracked helmet. It looks like it could be a man under the mask. What a reveal that would have been if Captain Phasma was actually a he. Wow, the all-powerful Snoke, taken out like a wuss. Again, let's reference The Empire Strikes Back even more. Have someone be force choked. Long live the Supreme Leader indeed. Who thought going into this maybe, Snoke's not dead, he'll be back in the next movie. Look at Leia with her wardrobe basically under her eyes like that. She looks like Dracula's daughter. Okay, we're on Crate. Yeah, see everybody? We're not ripping off Hoth. Look, it's a salt planet. It's not snow, it's salt.
Alright, what did I miss? Evidently not much.
You missed Snoke being cut in half, the Praetorian duel, Hodo's sacrifice, and then Captain Phasma
pretty
is
much
taken out.
Most of the action that has happened, and actually, we're watching the part of the movie that shouldn't exist at this point. I've said before,
and you missed where I pointed out where the movie should have ended. Where is right where Rey extends her hand, or maybe she's going to take Kylo Ren's hand. Boom! Cut to credits.
No, I mean that would be something, but I think she takes his hand, and now you cut the credits. Or you have like the dramatic sort of montage of everybody else in anguish, and like Luke looking disappointed, and everybody else, all the chips are down, and credits. I've said that a lot before. I haven't really heard anybody else come up with that idea, but it just sort of strikes me as setting the stage of, wow, now we're in uncharted territory. All the little girls that are in the theater, that are in their Jedi robes and stuff, are now betrayed by Rey. We have to determine whether or not Kylo is going to make a face turn and become the real hero, or maybe Poe and Finn have to man up and, with the help of Luke Skywalker, defeat the two new Jedi, right? That would have been more compelling than what we got in the Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, and you miss where Kylo Ren force chokes Hux. Yeah, let's rip off The Empire Strikes Back even further. Someone gets force choked. Only he's kind of sort of more fortunate than, say, Admiral Ozzel and Captain Nita.
Crystal Foxes of uselessness. I forgot about these guys. Oh.
Let's rip off The Empire Strikes Back even further. Let's do kind of sort of what looks like the Battle of Hoth.
So is all those in this base? Is this the last of the Resistance?
Yeah, what's left of them.
Or did the ships get somewhere else, maybe on the planet? Maybe they didn't all end up here?
Maybe some of them got away, but this is what we're supposed to believe is what's left of them.
Finn looks like he's ready to take charge. Not that any of that's relevant. I think we have like a director cameo here. The guy who's like, it's salt.
Yeah,
I think it's somebody.
It's Gareth Edwards, director of Rogue One.
Okay.
Yeah, see everyone? It's salt, not snow.
Yeah, does that matter? You know, it's okay, so it's salt. They don't use that to their advantage. Like, hey, if we do some chemistry, we can make this happen.
Or look around, like maybe there's something to combine with the salt to use as a makeshift weapon, kind of like what Captain Kirk has to use when he's fighting the Gorn on that planet. I don't know, just a thought.
As unnecessary as all this is, it does make for a striking visual having this red trail behind them, almost Tron esque. Which, mind you, I do need to do a commentary track of Tron Legacy. I have been thinking of it. Because I was in on Tron Legacy before it was cool. You check out my review of that film back in 2009. I was like, man, this is really damn good. And everybody off was writing it off as everybody else was saying, oh, hey, well, the set's derivative of 2001: A Space Odyssey, or it's weak here and whatever. Really, the weakest thing about the movie is Olivia Wilde. That's about it. I'm giving the orders, but I'm really giving the orders. I think General Hux, he goes from kind of giving some orders, we can't cover you from here, pull back, things like that, to completely being whipped, and that's why he's the traitor in The Rise of Skywalker.
Although these fighters don't have the cockpits like someone's in front, someone's behind, so the other person sees what's behind them as they're heading in towards combat.
The Tron bike ships that they are in here should be easy pickings for the TIE fighters. Of course, as it's happened time and time again, the Millennium Falcon shows up in just the nick of time. I suppose it was in the area, right? But I also think we had issues with how Rey got back on board. Like, they kind of failed to show that. Am I right? How she ended up on the Millennium Falcon, she just is kind of there. Like, oh, it must have been hanging around, not getting shot at. And to pick her up. Because they don't show her getting back on board, do they?
No, I mean, she got away somehow.
It's like, okay, we have a fight. Luke Skywalker's lightsaber gets destroyed, and I'm on the Millennium Falcon with the Porgs and Chewie. In every movie, they increasingly pull off maneuvers no pilot could possibly do with the Millennium Falcon. Like, we pre-measured this, we have the clearance, the width is correct type stuff.
Or right here, going across this very, 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 very narrow trench.
It's amazing the TIE fighters made it that far into that chase. This right here, all of this could have been the way you start the next movie. I mean, it was good enough for The Empire Strikes Back to have this kind of battle up front, wasn't it?
Yeah, episode 9 could have started with what we're doing right here. Kind of out of sequence because intuitively we predicted what's episode 9 going to be? Just rehash Return of the Jedi.
So much so they even bring back the villain of Return of the Jedi specifically to be the villain of that movie.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
It's almost surprising they didn't bring back the Ewoks. Or I mean, I would be curious as to what Jar Jar Binks is up to. Like, has he mellowed out in age? He probably has a lot of regrets too. It was him who nominated Palpatine. Let him do his sacrifice. His arc is over. Defeated Phasma. He's not running away from his problems, whatever. He has to save the Crystal Foxes.
Would his sacrifice have worked if he did? Look how much his ship is heating up. How far would he make it before?
I don't know how it made it that far. Why is this laser not already melted him?
These ships must have a heck of a heat shield.
I mean, they look flimsy as all hell. And they're essentially the pod racers, but slow.
Well, we got trenches everyone goes down into, kind of like World War One.
Well, they had trenches in Empire Strikes Back's Battle of Hoth.
Yeah, that too.
They have to do that here. Not fighting what we hate, saving what we love. I don't mind this line a bit, but then it is funnier than it should be seeing the door get blown open and we have to presume their friends are all going to die. Although she kind of looks like she just died too. So then you have to wonder about that immediately.
I feel so sorry for the actress. She tried with her character, but she didn't deserve all the backlash she got, all the abuse from fans.
I thought she did really good for what was offered to her. And I think Rose Tico should have had a bigger role in the final film instead of being, set dressing. Because we've set it up where it's like her and Finn are an item. But then he's like immediately sidetracked with this, Ray, I have to tell you something. And also, oh hey, look, there's a hot woman of color for me to talk to now.
These toxic fans, they just have nothing better to do with their time than troll people.
Uh-oh. What's he doing here? Man, what happened to Carrie Fisher's nose? Is that cocaine? Is that what happens? I think, there's this comedian who his nose just ballooned from all the coke he was snorting. I think he had to get it like some rhinoplasty done. One of Howard Stern's lackeys.
Here's where I'm just getting emotional watching just this scene alone. The music playing is the Luke and Leia theme in Return of the Jedi. And it's the last moment we see Luke and Leia together. Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher.
This is what people would have wanted more of. We could have had this sooner, Imagine if they'd made the movie series that should have been before this. They would have had plenty of scenes together, running the Galactic Senate and all that. And him training Jedi, whatnot.
That's why I love the ending of Return of the Jedi so much. It ends how we want to see these characters, happy and triumphant together. Now in these new movies, you just make them old and broken down.
And I wonder if she's aware of the dice situation. I guess if you were sitting on the Millennium Falcon, you would have noticed them, possibly. But there's a lot of things to notice on the Falcon, right?
Rest in peace, Carrie Fisher. God, it's just heartbreaking seeing Leia look so old and frail.
It's don't worry, it's about to get stupid again. Because remember, that's Luke's force preemptive force ghost. Like you can project yourself before you're dead
Yeah.
to be places.
But maybe we should have seen this coming because his beard or his hairline doesn't look the same as what we see
It
from Luke
is,
on.
yeah. His beard, he has hit the just for men formula. It is not gray. If you look closely here, he has dyed his beard. There is a difference.
Okay, cool. Now we're
I
finally going
think
to see
trimmed it
Luke
up a
do
little.
something.
And I think to some people, Luke having a moment here justifies the movie continuing, but I don't know why they couldn't just let him have his moment in the next film.
This is what, now 30 or 40 years after Return of the Jedi? Luke should be at his full Jedi potential.
No,
He
I don't
should
think
be.
so. I think he's past his Jedi potential. It's been a long time.
The minute all of these walkers open fire on him, he should be holding up his hand. We saw Vader stop a blaster with his hand. How cool would it have been if he just froze all those walkers?
As I've said, I think that we can now retcon Vader's blaster deflection to being credited to Beskar gauntlets. But this like dusting your shoulder off thing, I kind of like it. I know it's a little too Earth dust off your shoulder Jay-Z lyrics here, but I think it's okay. I kind of dig it. You get a little bit of a laugh from it, but it's not too much.
I almost thought right there, oh my god, they killed off Luke. Not yet. Dust his
Well, you
shoulder
know,
off like, is that all you got?
all that blast around him, it's pretty reminiscent of what happened to James Bond. You know, if you look though, he doesn't have any dust on him. That's almost a tell there that he's not actually in the area. Kaboom. Quit talking. She's hurt pretty bad. Man, he went a ways dragging Rose, didn't he?
He would have been an open
During all
target
this?
dragging her away.
He would have gotten covered in dust or shot or who knows. Like, he would have walked past all of this, right? He would have been there. No, wait. It's cooler if he does it alone. As we have not actually seen Luke Skywalker train Kylo Ren, this isn't as cathartic as it should be. But Adam Driver, I think, is the best actor of the new cast. He's doing more than what the script asks of him, really. Exceeding the boundaries of the script.
He's stalling you so you can escape. Yeah, so escape. What are you waiting for?
No, we have to watch. If we watch, we don't want to miss something cool. We got to see this. Those foxes got in somehow. I don't think there are real odds to this C-3PO. I think they just needed him to say odds. And then an arbitrary number. Good thing one of those crystal critters was standing around watching so that they could see it, which tunnel it took out, right? You know, they make a bigger thing of this beacon uh, watch than I think was necessary. Had their brackets creatures yipping, creature whining.
Follow the
Come on,
direction the
come on,
crystal
Poe.
foxes are going.
Come on, Poe. Just climb through these rocks like I did. This moving the rocks looks way worse than it should.
Like, why go
It
into the
looks like
space even? To quote Princess
it looks like
Leia,
rushed Marvel movie effects is what it looks
you
like.
came in here, you didn't have a plan for getting out?
So how long have these two been standing here with their lightsabers out?
Too
Like just
long.
like a couple minutes standoff? I don't like this lightsaber fight. It feels derivative of, you know, how everybody was copying the Matrix in the early 2000s with this like sliding. Here we go. It goes to slow motion. Look how cool I am. I slid under it. Oh, I'm sure you're sorry. So the rebellion is born today. Does that mean in the third film they'd call them the rebels instead of the resistance? Is that what we're implying?
Maybe.
Look at these rocks. Oh my god.
Oh, Rey can lift them, no problem. She can lift those rocks like they're paperweights.
Seem better looking rocks on Xbox. People say, well, she's so powerful, she's never been trained. It's nonsense. If she hadn't gotten some kind of training from Luke on that island, would she be able to move those rocks? Probably, but at least she had some kind of training. You know, you think this movie goes overboard with force powers, and then the next film just goes even to another tier. Whoop. Slipping on that salt.
They keep teasing us. Oh no, You're just gasping. No, no. Don't kill off Luke. They couldn't have.
Alright, I've got a question. Who ground up the salt to sprinkle on the planet? Shouldn't it be more of a big salt deposit crystals instead of ground white powder? See the gray beard?
Yeah, that's how we. If we really compare the differences, how we know it's not really Luke there.
See you around, kid. Is that a Han Solo line? I don't see why this results in the death of Luke Skywalker. That's what's confusing to me.
What happened? He used up all his powers to do what he did
Eh,
across the stars?
It's like Highlander 2 The Quickening all of a sudden. And it shouldn't be.
Just going into this movie, I just kept having this bad feeling they're going to do something that. I had a bad feeling. They killed off Han Solo. They're either going to kill off Luke or they're going to kill off Leia.
Everyone's getting bad feelings here. Where are my frog nuns when I need them? Look, we can't afford to have you in the third movie.
Rey senses this from afar, even.
Oh, look, there's two suns. Remember how he looked at two suns and they played this music back in 1977? Well,
Sure
we kind of
do.
have to do that again, don't
And
we?
when he was born, held in Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru's arms. Ugh. Ooh. I am just clenching my fist right this very moment. Seeing this in theaters, I was ready to throw my drink at the screen. We knew Han Solo's death was coming. Did we see Luke Skywalker's death coming? Maybe we did. But again,
I'll
believe
tell
it.
you whose death we saw coming is Princess Leia. Because it's like, you know, the actor that's dead is the one that you kept alive the longest. How are you going to work this out? Surely you got to kill her off, too. Rey's like, don't tell anybody, okay? Just let us get away here.
Visual ripoff to The Empire Strikes Back even more. They're getting away just as Darth Vader arrives. Same thing here, just as Kylo Ren arrives inside. Now they make their getaway.
Do the dice have significance to Kylo Ren? Like, I swear, I've seen Star Wars films many times. I've played many of the games, whatever. Never came across the dice. They make the dice a thing in this movie. And then they say, oh, well, they were always there. There was never a shot of the dice. You didn't see Han Solo walk in and put the dice up. Or,
there was never...
nothing to draw attention to it.
There was never dice in the original trilogy. They made it up entirely for these movies. The dice comes back in Solo, even.
Right after this, I'm going to pop in the first Star Wars movie and see if there's dice there. There probably are, but you couldn't identify them as dice. It's not like they're big fuzzy dice.
Disney might even get ideas. Let's do a special edition and add the dice into the original trilogy now. I wouldn't put it past them.
He died with peace and purpose.
Again, rest in peace, Carrie Fisher, but the ironic thing is Leia is alive at the end of this and Luke is not.
I mean, it is a way to...
And Luke has no
write yourself into a corner here.
Luke has no descendants, not even a wife. He just goes to some planet to die because he failed.
Remember those people that came by and caused all that mayhem for us to clean up? Let's tell that story.
And all these kids here, slave kids playing with action figures, kind of like what we're supposed to do. Why are all the merchandise, all the toys now run on store shelves?
Force broom. Kid used the force to pick up the broom.
Not anymore. Toys aren't selling.
Because he's... Whoever can have the force, if you're inspired, maybe. Maybe that's how you get the force.
What do kids play with nowadays? Cell phones. And right here at this moment, I'm not watching Star Wars anymore. It looks like something out of Oliver Twist.
Oh, did she leave that ring behind for him? She showed him the ring. I don't remember her giving him a ring.
I'm not watching Star Wars. I'm watching a commercial.
Written and directed by Rian Johnson. It's pretty bold of Disney to allow someone to have that much control over Star Wars. But weird that it's not the guy they started with. They're just like, oh, hey, you want to go do something else? And then just kind of come back.
Thank God it's over.
I don't understand it.
Oh my God.
All right, so is this the worst Star Wars movie or not?
I don't know. I'm still debating between this and The Rise of Skywalker. I'm not even going to rate this movie.
It's very much a pick your poison scenario. Yeah, it's a pick your poison scenario. I think this movie could be edited into a decent film, but I don't think there is any way to save the Rise of Skywalker. That's my 2 cents.
And we
Well, if you
see
guys have,
in the
go
credits, in
ahead.
loving memory of our princess Carrie Fisher, but wait, no such thing for Kenny Baker, our lovable droid.
Yeah, I was put off by that.
And
Yeah.
God, Mark Hamill, in the rare event you're listening to this, we love you. I'm so sorry you had to be degraded like this and your character just bastardized in this movies.
All
I'm
right,
just
guys.
absolutely
Next time
speechless. Rest in
we've
peace,
got
Carrie Fisher. God.
we're gonna have to get to the lice, the Rise of Skywalker soon enough. Till next time,
All
adios.
right, bye bye.